What's up guys? In this video I'll talk about how am I gonna get bigger as I'm getting leaner prepping for my next bodybuilding show. So if you guys followed, you've seen that I've done a bodybuilding show a few months ago in November, already 4 or 5 months ago, but I got on stage, I was pretty lean, but guess what? I had no more muscle mass on, right? I looked like pretty much like a billiardo stick, alright? I was pretty skinny. A look that I don't like because I was always kind of a bulkier man. I had that muscle mass and that was making me a little bit different from everybody else. All right, that's what most people it turned their eyes is my muscle bellies. But I dieted down so much for that show that I lost that pop to my muscles. I lost those muscle bellies and now I'm doing things a little bit differently. I'll explain to you guys how I'm gonna be growing, getting bigger while getting leaner. Yes, as a natural lifter. You might hear, oh, that's crazy. You can't build muscles and lose fat at the same time. You can't be in a deficit and build muscle at the same time. I'll tell you, not necessarily, all right? You can still build muscle mass while getting leaner. And it's not necessarily new muscle mass, but muscle mass that I once had and I'm kind of going back into that muscle memory to build it back. Also, I'm changing a lot of things, so I'll talk about it in details. But first thing first, I want to say the one thing that I'm not going to overdo is cardio, all right? It will sound a little bit weird because I'll say later that the way I'm going to keep my cardio, but as I was dieting down, I was doing a lot of cardio, 20,000 steps every single day, 7 days a week. I wouldn't sleep if those 20,000 steps were not done. And slowly but surely, I started tapping into that muscle, breaking down a lot of muscle tissue. And as I was getting leaner, because my goal was really having those visible abs and getting my shredded glutes, it never happened, all right? I lost more muscles than fat. And I think that overdoing that cardio was not the smart move. That's number one. Number two is instead of pulling down the carbs, which I did for the last 6 weeks of my competition, or maybe even more, 6 weeks, I was eating around 200, 150 grams of carbs while doing a lot of cardio training every single day. So you can imagine that it's not a lot of carbs to fuel that body. I will take a different approach. Because I was not eating a lot of carbs, I was barely able to train and my performance at the gym sucked. I could do like 4 or 5 pull-ups and I was done. All right, my workouts, 45 minutes, I was done. I remember I used to do leg days, but because my carb intake was so low, I would get kind of anxious all day long after my leg day. I would feel like I'm gonna vomit, like I'm gonna pass out. I had to cancel my clients on a day where I did leg day just because I felt like I couldn't take it anymore. All right, and it's most probably not because the workout was so intense, but my calorie intake was not able to fuel those workouts. So now instead of going in a way where I'm taking things out, I want to maybe maintain that level of carbs that I'm feeling good at, but push things up in terms of workload, all right, the output. So get back on those big workouts. Yes, big workouts. I'm a big volume guy. That's what always works for me. Doing an hour and a half at least of training, doing those compound lifts, the overhead, the barbell back squat, the deadlift, the bench press, the pull-ups. I want to go back on those. In my end of prep, well, most of my prep, honestly, I was removing calories and I'm like, you know what? I'm not building any muscles. Let me just go on machines and let me just do my reps. That's not gonna cut it if you're a natural lifter. You'll lose a lot of muscle super fast. It will cause muscle breakdown. Adding cardio to that, you're pretty much training like a marathon runner. You're gonna be super skinny, all right? That was another thing. So I'm gonna keep my carbs around 300 grams a day, and like this is gonna go up until like 3-4 weeks out. Yes, the last month you'll have to bring it down, maybe 200. I don't want to go under 150. I do not want to do that, all right? And if you set yourself up at the beginning with higher carbs, higher workload, it's gonna be super easy for you to cut. But if you start 12 weeks out and you're just eating 150 grams of carbs, what are you gonna go from there? You're just gonna have to add more cardio and lose all your muscles. We're naturals, guys. Remember, we're naturals. All right, so keeping those compound lift in, keeping those heavy lift in, but making sure that you're fueling your body with the carbs. You want to stay full. You don't want to be shredded 10 weeks out. All right, so now I'm not shredded at all, right? I'm not shredded. You can see I am not shredded, but I'm able to push at the gym. Today I was squatting. I got the good weight on. I'm not gonna say what the weight is because it's not much. All right, it's really not much. But for me, someone that hasn't lifted that heavy for a while, felt just so good. All right, if you want to know, it was 225. That's it. I did 225 for 10 reps. All right, I did like 5-6 sets of those. It's not heavy, but I haven't touched that weight for so long because I was in this kind of mindset that I'm cutting my calories. I'm gonna do more machines. I'm gonna push less at the gym, but just because I want to get leaner. But you lose muscle mass, you slow down your metabolism, and you go in a vicious cycle. So it's not body shrinking, it's bodybuilding. So now I'm adding more, but training more. I did 2 hours at the gym. I did many sets of squats, deadlift. I'm back on doing deadlift. It just feels good. All right. And I'm building that tissue, and this tissue will allow me to burn more, and it's going to be a lot easier later on down the road in the prep. So keep those heavy lifts, keep those compound lifts. Don't overdo the cardio. I would say steps. Don't do any high intensity BS cardio. Trust me. I've done it. Nah, stick with the steps, stick with the low and steady, slow and steady wins the race, slow and steady intensity cardio. Maybe aim for 15,000 steps. And at the end of that prep, you can increase things up. All right, you want to keep those cards in your hand that you can play later on down the road in the prep. If you're doing everything now, you're doing 2 hours of cardio a day, eating 150 grams of carbs, barely training, what are you going to do after? You don't have no more energy, you have nowhere to go. All right, good luck. So that's pretty much it. Another thing that I'm gonna be doing is I'm not gonna do crazy refeeds, because before I used to do 6 days kind of draining my body, 1 day refeed. 6 days draining my body, 1 day refeed. It doesn't work well for me. It just doesn't work well. I might have like a higher calorie day where I'm eating half of what I was eating on the refeed, but at some point I was doing like 600-700 grams of carbs a day on a refeed. And yes, it's cool, it's exciting, but it put a lot of pressure on me because I would be like, okay, I can finally eat carbs. What am I gonna do? So I would get like bread, sandwiches, this, that. I would overdo it. And then it's like the next day, okay, no more carbs. Now we're going in a low day. This is BS, the high and low day, the refeed. It's just gonna mess up your mind because now you start seeing carbs as like this little gift. It becomes like a pleasure. It becomes like fapping. It becomes like, okay, today is the day I'm gonna fap. Oh, I'm so excited for it. But then it just doesn't set my mind right for me personally because I'm an extremist. I'd rather, let's say, instead of having 700 grams of refeed on Saturday and then just 200 all day, I'd rather combine all those carbs and have the same amount every single day and have good performing workouts every single day. Why? Tell me, why would you refeed if for some people closer to the peak week, as a natural lifter, it could have its benefit. I mean, I'll talk for me because some people can just get away with a lot of things. But for me, also doing those refeed, man, the next day I would be so bloated, a lot of carbs, right? One shot, you're eating 150 grams of carbs for 6 days, and now you give your body 800 grams of carbs. What's gonna happen? You're gonna just retain a lot of water, bloating, gas. You're gonna go back the next day, feel like a pregnant woman. You're not gonna like that look, all right? Nah, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna maybe do 300 grams every single day and then 1 day of 500 grams. You know, maybe bump it up a tiny bit. Or maybe go for a little cheat, a little snack, a little sweet. I'm not against cheat. It is good for the metabolism. It is good to get that refeed. But it's like if someone says, okay, I'm gonna stop alcohol and I'm not gonna drink any alcohol for 6 days, and then on 7th day, I'm gonna hammer myself with 10 beers, but then I'm gonna get it out of my system. It just messes up your mind because now you develop binge eating and you develop food disorder. That's it, food disorder. Anyways, let's go, guys. That's it for this video. That's my shape right now. I am holding a bit of water because I took the plane yesterday. I was in Los Angeles. Man, let me talk about Los Angeles a little bit. Los Angeles is just amazing. It is just amazing. I love the vibe over there. I came back to Montreal. I'm like, what am I doing here, you know? I don't like the snow. I don't like the vibe here. I don't like it. I don't like it. The weather is such an important part for me to be happy. I fell 2 times yesterday as I was walking and it was just not fun. I'm like, I just wish I can go somewhere else. But guess what? We can. We are so limited in our mind. We think that because we are somewhere, we start getting comfortable and we don't want to do any moves. And then next thing you know, you're 60 years old and you're like, you can't do it anymore because now you have a lot more commitments. So I told my lease is ending in 4 months. I told the guy, man, I'm not renewing. I don't even care if I have to go live in Thailand. I don't even care. Maybe I'll just do YouTube videos and post for you guys. I don't know. But man, we gotta take that leap of faith, because if you just stay and you don't know what's gonna happen and you wait until things open up for you, I don't think it's a good way of living, because then we're just always waiting for the right moment and it never happens. The right moment never happens. It never happens. Look back at all the things, the good things that happen in your life. A lot of time it's because you did something impulsively and you didn't wait for the right moment and just went for it. All right? Anyways, before I start rattling, I'm gonna stop this video. If you guys watched till now, I appreciate you. Comment salt if you watched till now, because salt is a superfood. I'll see you guys soon. Ciao.